We live in an age of global commerce never seen before. Individual economies from nation-states are more interconnected than they have ever been before, aided by the advancement of technology and the opening of markets around the globe. We are truly living in the age of international trade. Whether you're an upstart entrepreneur or an established CEO, now is a better time than ever to expand your borders and consider doing business in a foreign country. That's why in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the top 7 countries to do business with in 2020. This list was derived from the best countries for business rankings created by the BAV Group, a unit of global marketing communications company VMYL&R, and the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. It is based on a survey that weighted scores based on attributes such as bureaucracy, manufacturing costs, corruption, favorable tax rates, and transparent government practices. This is the list based on the 2019 findings. Number 7. Sweden. There are a lot of reasons to consider this peaceful Nordic country as a place of business. While Sweden is known for its high tax rates and government spending, its economy is largely capitalistic and maintains one of the most respected and least corrupt systems of governance around. As government accountability is extremely important for those in business, Sweden shines in this area. They have straightforward, transparent business practices as well as a well-developed legal framework. In terms of a potential workforce, Sweden also offers one of the most dynamic and educated pools of labor around. Their population ranks in the upper echelons, coming in at the 99.7th percentile. Sweden is also a leader in innovation and infrastructure, meaning concerns over portability wouldn't be a factor. There are a few drawbacks, namely high taxes and high manufacturing costs. However, they are one of the least bureaucratic and corrupt governments on the planet. If you are in a business that doesn't have high manufacturing needs, but requires an innovative and educated workforce, Sweden may be a great choice for you. Sweden has an export-dependent economy that works together with the European Union, currently seeking to expand its trade markets for timber, hydropower, and iron ore. Sweden is also a member of several global treaties, most notably the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, United Nations, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the World Trade Organization. Number 6. The Netherlands. The Netherlands is a country known for its innovative infrastructure and high-income population. This coastal lowland Western European nation is a leader in exporting agriculture, a mostly mechanized industry benefiting of its famous rolling flowered hills. Much like Sweden, it has a highly educated population that is relatively skilled. It boasts even better access to capital and connectivity to the rest of the world that is nearly unrivaled. Perhaps most importantly for those looking to do business, it has a straightforward and developed legal framework. It shares other traits with Sweden as well, namely its impeccable lack of corruption and minimal bureaucracy, despite having very high taxes and high costs of manufacturing. While not as innovative as their Nordic neighbors, they boast similarly transparent government practices and a highly modernized society. The Netherlands is a prominent member of the European Union, having been a founding member as well as a member of NATO and the United Nations. It is another good Western European choice for business, perhaps for those seeking more temperate climates than the ones you'd find in Sweden. Number 5. Singapore. Originally a colony of England, Singapore is the first Asian nation on our list. Considered one of Asia's 4 economic tigers, Singapore has seen continued growth in manufacturing and production, as well as free market innovation, especially in electronics and pharmaceuticals. Its largely urban population is one of the wealthiest in the world, ranking high in GDP per capita and boasting a very low unemployment rate. Singapore ranks amongst the best of the best when it comes to entrepreneurial opportunities as well as innovation. They also offer a workforce with a high level of technological expertise. Despite not having transparent government practices as the other nations listed thus far, they have a highly favorable tax environment and better manufacturing costs. Like many other places that are great for business people, they have low rates of corruption and limited bureaucracy. One of the drawbacks seems to be its low ranking in infrastructure, a problem the government is working to address as the already dense populated country is only expected to grow. There are also concerns over environmental practices as the country continues to urbanize and has a heavily industrialized economy. Singapore hosts the headquarters for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation and is a member of the ASEAN Regional Forum, United Nations, and the World Trade Organization. All in all, Singapore is an intriguing choice for business, especially if you are involved in electronics or pharmaceuticals. Number 4. Denmark. The second Nordic country on this list, and the only one on the European mainland, Denmark is a Scandinavian nation that has a ton of appeals for business. It is a global leader in many important industries, including food processing, tourism, and the production of iron, steel, and heavy machinery. Because of this, they are one of the main players in the exportation of processed foods, industrial machinery, pharmaceuticals, and furniture. Perhaps the most appealing aspect of Denmark's economy is that it combines a flexible labor market with a policy for the unemployed. The idea is that it allows businesses to rise quickly and inexpensively without much regulation or impedance from the government. Like other Nordic nations, it has a high income tax rate, but favorable corporate tax rates. Their highly educated and skilled population, coupled with a great legal framework and well-developed infrastructure, make Denmark a great country for entrepreneurs. Much like the other governments on this list, they boast incredibly low rates of corruption and bureaucracy, as well as transparent government practices. However, they do have high costs of manufacturing, a common theme amongst European nations. Denmark is an important player in many international agreements, including NATO, the European Union, United Nations, Nordic Council, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. All in all, it is a great choice for business. Number 3. Canada. Our neighbor to the north, Canada is a high-tech industrial society in the U.S.'s largest trading partner. Its economy is driven by the service industry as well as the export of energy, food, and minerals. The country is also a big provider of oil, ranking third in proven oil reserves, and coming in fifth on the list of largest oil producers. Their people enjoy an extremely high quality of life. Of all the countries on this list, Canada comes in as the best for transparent business and government practices, as well as infrastructure. They also come in near the top for legal frameworks. Those factors alone are enough to entice business owners, but they have practically no corruption and bureaucracy as well. They also have impressive accessibility to capital, making it a desirable location for startups. You'd be hard-pressed to find the faults in doing business in the Great North. Canada is a member of the United Nations, NATO, and the Commonwealth of Nations. Number 2. Switzerland. This neutral powerhouse in Central Europe is undeniably one of the best countries on the planet for business. They have an incredibly high GDP per capita rate, very low unemployment, and a highly skilled labor force. Their economy is driven by its low corporate tax rates that help bolster the service sector, led by financial services and technologically inclined manufacturing industry. Switzerland is also known for its banking, though in recent years, their practices have become more transparent. Because of these practices, Switzerland has long been a desirable place for people to conduct business through offshore accounts and intermediaries. Switzerland ranks amongst the very best in terms of access to capital, whilst also boasting an extremely educated and skilled labor force. While they are ever so slightly more bureaucratic than other countries on this list, though still ranking low compared to most other countries, they have an extremely favorable tax environment. Switzerland is also known for its neutrality, which is the main reason why it is not a member of the European Union. However, the city of Geneva is host to many headquarters for international organizations. These include the International Committee of the Red Cross and the United Nations. They are also a member of IMF, TWO, and the World Bank. Number 1. Luxembourg. This tiny Western European nation is an economic powerhouse, despite its size. Per capita, it ranks as the wealthiest nation in all of Europe, being a major center for private banking and the financial center. It is known for its extremely favorable tax environment for large corporate entities, something that has garnered criticism from abroad. Like other nations on the list, Luxembourg has practically non-existent corruption, low bureaucracy, and transparent government practices. However, what truly separates it from the pack is its incredibly favorable tax rates, coming in at the 93.2 percentile, by far the highest out of any country on this list. While it ranks well in other important areas such as access to capital, infrastructure, and legal frameworks, the tax rates alone are enough to entice many businesses from around the globe. Because of this, Luxembourg has become the home for many large international companies. It is truly one of, if not the, most friendly countries when it comes to business. Luxembourg is also a part of many important international organizations, including the European Union, NATO, and the United Nations. That wraps it up for our list. Do you guys agree with it? Let us know in the comments. There were plenty of countries that could have gotten honorable mentions. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like and hit subscribe to see similar content in the future. Thanks for watching.
Listen.